Welcome to Evolve with the Modern Caveman.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to another episode of Evolve with the Modern Caveman. I'm your host, Gilbert Diaz, aka the Modern Caveman. If you're joining us for the first time, I would like to thank you for just tuning in and choosing to spend your time with me. It is something that I truly am grateful for. Is something I do not take for granted. Time is your most valuable asset, and the fact that you have chosen to spend that time with us is something that I truly hold to heart. And it is my goal to take that time and utilize it wisely by pouring as much value into your life that I possibly can so that you can evolve into the next best version of yourself. That being said, let's get into today's episode. Today's episode, I'm actually going to be continuing the trend that I started last week, which is basically um, just speaking from the heart. I have nothing pre-scripted, nothing pre-prepared. Uh it's just kind of this episode's going to kind of just be something similar to last week's episode where it's just kind of a heart-to-heart conversation, me sharing some techniques that have helped me in the past and just some ways in which you can, utilize something simple to improve the quality of your life. Today, I want to talk about shifting your mindset. More specifically, I would like to talk about something something simple that you can utilize in your life today, in your mind today, something that is a quick little shift that you can do that will greatly improve the quality of your life. And what that is shifting your focus. It's actually so simple that it may seem like it's a lie or is impossible, right? It can't be focused, right? Um I want to talk to you today about shifting your focus so that you can shift the quality of your life. See, a lot of people like myself included, uh have go around living life living their lives through the lens of a victim. Okay, they they often believe their life is happening to them rather than on their behalf. And the reason why they believe this is because they choose to focus on the things that are going to bring them down. They choose to focus on the negativity rather than the positive things in their lives. And in a couple of episodes ago, we spoke about Debbie Downers. We talked a little bit about how everything could be going right in their life. There could be something like 100 things happening in their life. 99% of it may be good, and they will still find the 1%. Sometimes it doesn't even have to be the 1%. It could be the 0.0001%, but they will still find it. That 0.0001% of negativity. And what ends up happening is they focus so hard on it that it literally magnifies. And when it magnifies, it completely changes their perspective, it changes their perceptions, it controls their emotions and their behaviors, and it doesn't matter about the other 99%. As long as they're focusing on that 0.0001%, even if it's that small, once it's magnified in their minds, it completely takes over. What you focus on you will magnify. Now, what does that mean? What does it mean to magnify? You see, I guess the best way to describe this is that what you focus on will capture the fullness of your attention. What you choose to focus on will capture the fullness of your thoughts. But I think more importantly, what you focus on will take hostage of your emotions. And one of the things that I learned from Tony Robbins, one of my coaches, is that we are creatures of emotions. We are emotional creatures, and our behaviors are exhibited from these emotions. Something that I also learned from the great Tony Robbins is if we want to change the quality of our life, we have to change our state. I'm going to repeat that. If we want to change the quality of our life, we have to change our state of mind, our state of being, right? Our state of mind greatly affects our state of being. And we've talked in depth in previous episodes about the state of being. But what exactly is a state? Because a lot of times people uh, hear about emotions and stuff like that, emotions and feelings, and then they hear this term, the state, being in the state. What does that mean? See, in religion, we often refer to states as a spirit, right? It is living through a spirit of joy, living through a spirit of fear, living through a spirit of peace, living through a spirit of anger or despair, um, a spirit of hope. Okay. Now, in the world of personal development, we don't really use the word spirit. We use the word state. But basically, they basically mean exactly the same thing. It is whatever takes full control and begins to govern your life, right? It is the emotions that govern your life. Um, if we want to change our state, however, we must change what we focus on. Let me repeat that one more time. If we want to change our state, we must change what we choose to focus on, because we cannot expect to lead a life of joy, for instance, while focusing on the things that steal our joy. We cannot lead a life of peace while focusing on all those things that tend to bring down our peace, disrupt our peace. We cannot lead a life of hope if everything we focus on just continues to make us hopeless. We cannot lead a life of love if we choose to focus on the things that cultivate hate or inspire anger, all the things that will be contrary to what love is. See, when you are in a state of joy, there's something beautiful that happens, right? And this applies to any kind of state. But when you're in a state of joy, you can be in the midst of despair, meaning all hell can be breaking down around you. You may even be in temporary pain. We spoke a little bit about temporary pain in last week's episode. You could even be in the midst of temporary pain. You could even be in the midst of temporary discomfort, temporary sadness, and you still find a reason to smile in the morning. You still find a reason to get up and be happy about something, even in the midst of your turmoil, even in the midst of your your tribulations. The same thing goes for being in a state of peace. All hell could be breaking breaking out around you, and you have this calmness, this tranquility that surpasses all understanding. That's the preacher in me. I can't help but go back to it, right? You have this thing that just keeps you moving forward. When you are living in a state of love, it doesn't matter who harms you or what other people may have done to you. You have to express yourself in a state of love. You have to express yourself in loving behaviors. That's the beauty of being in a state of love, joy, hope. And then there's also other states, right? There's the state of fear. See, when you're in that state of fear, your behaviors reflect the emotions that govern you. So you will begin to take less risk. You may begin to doubt yourself, right? Remember, fear in itself is is a very powerful emotion, but it's also an emotion just like any other emotion that breeds other things. It may breed anxiety. It may breed doubt into your life. It may breed insecurity. So when you begin to uh when you're living a life in a state of fear, or operating through a spirit of fear, if you're a believer like myself, right? If you're operating through a spirit of fear or a state of fear, your behaviors will reflect that emotion. uh, you know um this even applies to your goals, dreams, and aspirations. I can't emphasize this enough. This even applies to your goals, dreams, and aspirations. You see, if we're serious about the dreams that we have, if we're serious about the life that we want to lead, the people that we want to become, if we focus truly on it and nothing more, then there should be, theoretically, there should be nothing that should stop us from achieving those goals, dreams, and aspirations. You see, it is not the pursuit of the dream that kills the dream. It's the distractions. It is what you choose to focus on. It's funny because yesterday, while I was preparing this lesson, I'm scrolling through Instagram, and I see this video of a dog that's in front of a hockey goal, right? I'm not sure. I'm not a hockey fan, so I hope I'm getting correct. But he was in front of one of those hockey goals, and the owner has a bunch of toys. It's like a tennis ball, a baseball, a football, some squeaky toys. They're all piled around. And then in the middle of it, he has a black puck. And he takes the hockey stick, and he begins to hit each one of the toys, each one of the balls, except for the hockey puck, to see if the dog will keep will get distracted and not go for the puck. But the dog stays steadfast. He keeps his eye on the puck, and no matter all the things that come flying at him, at the very, very end, when the hockey stick hits the puck, the dog grabs the puck in the air. I just It just really made me think how many times that we get distracted. Our goals, dreams, and aspirations are there to be fulfilled. Our names are written in it. All we have to do is just continue to focus forward. But we see all these things that are kind of thrown our way, and we lose track of what we're supposed to be doing. We lose track of the vision. We lose track of the dream. I'll give you something that may be even worse. How many times, because of the distractions, right? And those distractions can come in the form of well-meaning people, people that don't really want to see you fail, but they um they begin to minimize you and your dreams in accordance to what they could conceptualize in their brains. I can't tell you how many people that I have known over the years who have amazing abilities, amazing gifts, amazing talents to achieve virtually anything that they set their minds on. And they have these magnificent, massive, grand dreams that they want to accomplish. And then they begin to tell other people those dreams. And somewhere along the line, somebody has an opinion. Maybe they have failed at their dreams. Maybe they had a similar dream and they didn't go as far. And so they begin to discourage the person who has these grand dreams. And they begin to, a lot of times this is unknowingly, they begin to say, well, you can't do this, you can't do that. Maybe that dream's a little too big, you begin to think to yourself. I can't tell you how many times where I thought my dreams were too big, and I began to minimize my dreams in order to fit the perceptions or what other people could conceptualize in their brain. Something that I had to learn is that God gave me that dream. And because he gave me that dream, it's only me that is able to understand it. He didn't give that dream to my family. He didn't give that dream to my friends. He gave it to me. So we can't blame other people when they cannot conceptualize it in their minds. What we must do is to remain focused. We must remain focused, and just like all those things that are being thrown at the dog, we have to keep our eyes on the prize, keep our eyes on the puck, and do not minimize yourself for the sake of others. You see, when that begins to happen, that's when the excuses happen. That's when the the eternal lies begin to happen. That's where the negative thoughts begin to just envelop and take control of our lives. What we focus on feeds our souls. I want to repeat that one more time. What we choose to focus on feeds our souls. My question is what is feeding your soul? There's a popular nursery rhyme, and I hope I don't mess it up, but it goes something like this: be careful, little ears, what you hear. Be careful, little eyes, what you see. My question is what are you entertaining with your eyes? What are you entertaining with your ears? What are you choosing to consume into your life and give that attention to? What are you choosing to entertain? What thoughts, what are you choosing to feed your thoughts and entertaining it in those quiet times? I want you to really think about that. I want you to think about the time that you give these things. Like I said before, time is your most valuable asset. A lot of people think it's money. It is not money. Time is your most valuable asset. You have a very finite amount of it, and when it's gone, and we don't know how much of it that we have. Time is your most valuable asset. And my question to you is, what are you doing with that time? Are you choosing to use that time, your most valuable asset, to entertain thoughts of negativity, thoughts of despair, thoughts of things that are are keeping you away from your greatness? Are you choosing to entertain the lies that not only you tell yourself, but that you choose to hear from others? We have to black out and become deaf to the rest of the world, just like that dog. He became blinded to the rest of the things that were thrown at him. What you focus on will lead your life. What you focus on will lead your life, and it would feed the emotions that that you um that you will eventually have, that will create your state of being, your state of mind, or your spirit. I remember, and this is in reference to leading your life. I remember when I was learning to drive. You see, I was the first person in my family who got a license. I was the first person to own a car. I grew up in New York City, and those things were not really something that were necessary while growing up in New York City. But I wanted to be the first person to break the cycle. I wanted to be that person. And because nobody in my family drove, I had to go to a driving school. And I remember um when I first went to the driving school, the first thing that they'll do is they'll take you into like a secluded street where there's not a lot of traffic, and they teach you the basics, how to turn the car, how to do the broken U-turn, how to, use your signals, all those kinds of basic driving skills, right? At some point, they have to put you into traffic. And I remember there's one particular time they said, "All right, we're gonna go into traffic," and they really put me in one. There was cars all around me. At one point, there was this massive truck in front of me. There was another car to the side of it, and there was this kind of space that was in between the two of them. And I remember my instructor says to me, "I need you to go around the truck, go in between that space." And I remember just being filled with fear because now I had to turn the car into traffic. And I didn't want to hit the car in front of me. I didn't want to hit the car on the side. And I remember hearing the beeps in the behind of the cars that were behind me. And it didn't matter that there was a sticker that says student driver on it. The people just wanted to get to their destination. And here I was keeping them from that. And I was scared and nervous, and I was looking at every other thing and worried about every other person, all the people that were behind me. And I remember my instructor stopped the car and said, "You're focusing on the wrong things. You're focusing on the truck right next to you. You're focusing on the cars behind you. You're focusing on the car on the side. What I need you to focus on is the space in between." Now, I remember when he said that, and I know he it was just a basic lesson, but it became a lesson that I began to teach for the rest of my life. You see, because it is that space in between, that is the margin of your success. That is the margin of your success. That is where greatness is. How many times do we go through life and we allow the cars behind us to dictate whether we move into the lane or we don't? We allow the car in front of us to strike fear in us because we're afraid to collide into him. What we should be doing is focusing on that space in between, that space of opportunity, that margin of success. Um, when I first got into to personal development, I actually started by signing up to a program with Tony Robbins and his partner Dean Graziosi. And Dean Graziosi, I didn't know him from a hole in the wall, and I became a part of this program, and I remember him. He just so many things that he taught me while I was in his program that I'm probably going to share with you many, many times over. But there was this one particular story that really resonated with me. He talked about about his friend. He had a friend who was a youth director, and he was taking his youth group to whitewater rafting. Now, I'm not a expert on whitewater rafting, or I've never been, but I my understanding is that there is there's levels to the rapids, right? You have level ones, which are kind of like calm rapids, and then you got like level fives, which are very strong rapids, and then you have somewhere in the middle where kind of intermediate. The youth director takes his youth group to the rapids, and the night before was a powerful storm. And so you can just imagine that because of that storm, because of all the winds and all the water that fell from the sky, the rapids were level 5. And the youth director is standing there, and he's thinking to himself, well, we're gonna have to cancel this trip. And then the raft instructor comes, and he says, all right, everybody, jump into the raft. And the youth director said, wait, hold on, this is a level 5 rapids. You sure this is safe? He said, listen, this is all I want you guys to do. Wherever I point is where I want you to go. Wherever I point is where I want you to steer. So all the kids get into the raft, and as they're going, the rapids are what you would expect. They're strong, they're hitting hard. Here comes a tree, here comes a rock, and the first thing that the instructor does is he points to the space in between. He points to the space in between. He says, "Go there. Go there." And the kids will row their boats, and they made it out safely. And at the end of it, the youth director tells the instructor, he said, "How did you get to this point in your career? How did you know what to do?" And he says, well, when I started my career, we used to have a lot of problems because very often we would be on these rafts, and we'll see a tree or we'll see a rock. And the first thing I'll do is point to the tree, or I'll point to the rock and say, avoid that rock or avoid that tree. And what ends up happening is we put so much the kids will put so much focus on the rock or the tree that even though they were trying to avoid it, they ended up colliding with it. Now, I want to ask you that question. How many times have has there been something in your life that you're desperately trying to avoid, but you've given it so much power? You've literally given it so much focus and attention that you end up colliding with it. Sometimes simply by giving it that much focus, we allow it to steal our power. Instead, what we should be doing, instead of thinking about the obstacles or the things that are there to kind of tip us over and put us into the waves, what we should be focusing on is the space in between. You see, your focus is your power. Your focus is your power, and wherever you choose to utilize your focus will either take power from you or will magnify the power in your life. Okay? What we want to do is live our lives in a positive state. And we only can do that by shifting the way we focus. By shifting the way we focus and focusing on the things that create a positive state. Now, know that take note that I said a positive state and not positive thinking. See, I'm not one of those positive thinking kind of self-development coaches. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying don't think positively. Absolutely look at the positive as much as, as possible. But in my humble opinion, positive thinking often negates the the other emotions that are often there to protect you. See, things like being afraid or anger or even a little bit anxiety and maybe even a little bit of jealousy. These things are not necessarily bad things. We often equate them as negative um negative emotions or negative feelings, but they're not necessarily negative or positive. These things are often there to assist you. They only become negative when they begin to take control of your life, when they become your state. Okay? I actually advocate, instead of positive thinking, think optimistically. You see, because when you think optimistically, you still can acknowledge all those other things, right? You can still acknowledge that you can still acknowledge the weight of the trial or tribulation that you may be going through. You can still acknowledge the weight of the pain that may be on your life, the burden of that pain, but you still have hope for a greater tomorrow. You can still strive and focus for a brighter future. That's what optimism does. I can't imagine someone who loses someone dear in their life and just telling them, just think positive. Just think positive. It's not really something that's very reassuring. But when you can tell them, be optimistic. Be optimistic. I know you're going through some pain right now. I know things are not the way you want them to be, but know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Know that there is something beautiful that is awaiting you at the end of this process. Know that this trial or tribulation, this process is refining you for your greatness. It's producing something amazing in your life. It's producing something that is going to change your life for the better. It is evolving you into the next best version of yourself. If you truly want to change the quality of your life, you must change what you focus on. I hope that this message resonates with you. If you have found value in this episode, I truly ask that you do me a favor and share this episode with a family, friend, or anybody that you feel that will greatly benefit from this episode. I ask you to follow me on social media, either on TikTok or Instagram, and click the notification icon on both those social medias so that you are alerted anytime I produce new content. Also, I know a few people have expressed some interest on some modern caveman gear. And very soon I'm gonna have a few things that some samples for people to see. So definitely stay tuned with that. You could definitely find that either on my stories or on my Instagram. I might have a post or stuff like that. Also, I wanna be the first to kind of announce well, not so I would say I want to prepare you for an announcement. Let's put it that way. I want to prepare you for a big announcement in the month of August. I have something that I've been working on for quite a while, and it's finally going to be produced. So I want to create a little bit of expectation, and please continue to listen so that you can hear about this great announcement, something that I believe that will definitely help increase the quality of your life, and it's something that is very dear to my heart. That being said, like I said, this was a heart to heart. Um, make sure that you love each other, be with each other. God bless you, and keep evolving the modern caveman way.